What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content, and y'all see the chat. Y'all see the title, right? Uh, Rich lesbians will ruin the WNBA, and I don't have anything against like people's lifestyle or anything like that. Let me just put that out front. But I just think that the WNBA, in my opinion, the players, I'm not sure about how far up the ladder it go, but it just seems like they have an agenda, right? And I think that their agenda is going to, in my opinion, is going to ruin the game of basketball for the WNBA. I think it's going to stunt their growth because, in my opinion, the WNBA is really too they're too I don't know they're too political, right? Sometimes when people go to watch basketball or any sport you go to watch, you want to be able to, it's almost like an escape. You want to enjoy the athletes for, for what their talents that they have. And you can't really escape if every time you go into the WNBA, there, is some type of cause going on. Either they're not getting paid enough, or women's rights and women's this and women's that, gay rights, lesbian rights, and all that stuff, right? I just like a lot of most other people, we believe that, like everybody has rights, like human rights and civil rights and all that stuff. But like I said, sometimes you have to separate the two because if you want to escape from any type of, any type of these political, you know, ideologies or political beliefs and stuff like that, you won't be able to do that. I know the same thing for me, as far as I'm concerned, the same thing happened with football. Back when Colin Kaepernick was doing the kneeling and stuff like that, right? And it just got confused. On one side, Colin Kaepernick said he was trying to honor a certain demographic or honor soldiers and stuff like that. And then on the other side, they said, well, we don't see that as honor. So it was a fight that was really, it took away from the game of football, right? I think that if people want to honor or protest, then like they have to find a way to do that and get that out there to the people in another way. Because sometimes it'll take away from, like I said, you don't get to escape some of the what's going on out here in society. Like somebody like Colin Kaepernick or any WNBA player, like you do have a voice, but maybe that platform is not the time or the place for you to demonstrate and to voice your opinion. That's like, you know what I mean. If I make McDonald's and I'm flipping burgers, that's that's not my platform. My job, what I mean, is to flip burgers at that establishment. Now, when I get off work, if I want to, you know, if I want to go ahead and voice my opinion on any of my beliefs and stuff like that, then yeah, we do have freedom of speech, right? And so with these young ladies in the WNBA, a lot of them are very popular and they have followings and stuff like that. So you don't really need to do that on somebody else's stage, on somebody else's time, especially, like I said, when people they're looking for other outlets. They're looking to watch you and appreciate what it is that you bring to the table. So, that's when, and I think with these young ladies, like they go overboard sometimes, in my opinion, with politicizing everything and then wanting to, it's just a lot of complaints in that league. Some of the WNBA athletes are really not, they don't really treat the fans all that well. So and I think it's going to hurt the league. I think right now, like there's an opportunity for the WNBA to grow, and they're not growing. I think they'll stunt that growth. They'll stunt that growth with being too political. Just allow people to enjoy and appreciate your talent and take advantage of that. You know, I watched so far. I mean, like in the last couple years, because it was, like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and like that has brought not only me, but it brought like a lot of people back to the WNBA, to watch. I like basketball and I always watch basketball, but now I'm watching the WNBA. And so the WNBA has a small window of opportunity to grow. You're in between, like once the NBA championships are over with, then you got the WNBA up until football season start up. And that's the reason why I'm even making this video, because somebody asked me, they was like, Mike, if you had an opportunity to watch, you know, the WNBA or football, which one are you going to watch? And I was like, wow, that's a good question, because like WNBA playoffs is get ready to start. I think they start like September the 14th. So you have regular season football games, and then you have WNBA competing against each other. And football right now is king. Football is beating out basketball is my sport, but football is even beating out basketball. So the WNBA don't have any margin for error, when especially when it comes to competing against football, because it'll be hard to get people to turn off football and have them watch the WNBA. And then on top of that, you don't want to add that political agenda or the alphabet community and stuff, like you don't throwing that into people's face, you know, uh telling people that you have to feel this way about this or feel that way about that. People not going to do it. They just not going to do it. And this is, like I said, the WNBA need to take advantage of every opportunity that they're getting right now for them to grow and expand. But when everything is just so political, and it's making this league, and I heard not just one person say this, but this, right, the WNBA is the most hated league, sports league. And that's crazy. But part of it is the way they politicize everything, the way they throw certain things in your face, and like, you have to choose a side. If you don't choose this side or that side, then you evil, and you are oppressive. Then, like, and I talked about this on my podcast. You talk about like the way they treat their fans sometimes, like, and it's not all of them, but like some of the bad press, like Kelsey Plum coming out telling fans that she's weirded out by a guy who asked for her autograph. Like, where do they do that at? Like, who tells their fans that they're weird? Somebody that appreciate them, and somebody who has respect and admiration for them. Like, who does that? Like, how can you benefit from telling a person that wants your autograph, somebody who admires you? How can you benefit from telling that person that that you find them weird? If she pull up to a venue and there are no fans out there celebrating her and appreciating her, would she feel better? You know what I mean? Would she feel appreciated? Or would she feel like somebody really likes and admire her? And it was raining outside, and she not the only one. I don't want it to seem like I'm picking on her, but she got caught up 2 times with a fan. And I can name a few other young ladies in the WNBA who said some things publicly about fans that I thought just was ill advised, in my opinion, man. So yeah, man, I just think that this in my opinion, they're the most hated league, and they are the league that I think that they have the least margin for error. Like, you in between NBA basketball and NFL football. That's tough. And then you're going on at the same time where Major League Baseball is playing at the same time that your season is going. So you don't have any margin for error. If so if somebody decided they want to stand out in front of a venue and wait for your autograph, man. You should be doing backflips. In my opinion, you should be doing backflips instead of telling them that they weird. But that's my take on it. Hopefully that these young ladies get on the right path and start appreciating their fans, make their league a little bit less political. Like I said, and the thing about it, they don't even like on their. I don't see like these young ladies like when it comes to their brand, they do this on somebody else's time. Like when it comes to their brand and politicizing, a lot of these young ladies will not speak about these type of things on their own platforms. Like they have podcasts, but they don't, they won't want to speak about George Floyd on their podcast. They don't want to speak about different rights and stuff on their podcast. They'll more so do that on somebody else's platform, so if you really about it, then do it on your platform. Grow your audience and grow your platform on your own, on the backs of on your own political belief. Do that. Let me see. I don't see any of these young ladies doing that on their own platform. So that's another thing I just noticed and thought of. But yeah, man, I just wanted to rant about that a little bit. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out on the next episode. Peace.